Hello guys, and welcome back to Tretogor province. We're back here, well I should say back. This is the first time I've done a really big custom biome like this, and I wanted to show it up. I feel pretty happy with it. So this is the tentatively named Tall Trees region of Tretogor. If you're wondering where we are exactly, we are bordered by the river on basically all sides, and just up here through the fog we can see Regensburg to the north, and following this river you'll actually get all the way over, if it'll load in now, to Castle Stoneheart. And I've turned the render distance down because I really enjoy the way that the trees play with the fog with all these big custom trees. Now, I've spent the past couple weeks working on this since the poll where you guys voted for this. So in the future, when you see polls, make sure to vote, and it'll affect the videos that I do post on this channel. You can see that there are probably like 100 or so custom trees here. Some of them are pretty big, others are pretty small, like this little guy here, and some of them are even smaller, but I really like the way that this has turned out. So as I've stated in the thumbnail, my inspiration for this has been playing Red Dead Redemption, specifically Red Dead Redemption 2 with the Big Valley region and the Tall Trees region. Now those places are more based off of, well, Tall Trees specifically is more based off of like the California redwoods on the western coast of the US, but I wanted to play around more with these big sort of spruce trees. So you can see that they go to be pretty big. I mean, this one here is probably like 60 blocks tall. And they're more concentrated around like the interior bits of the forest, and then as you kind of get further away we get to some of these smaller ones. And I want to take you through like the underbrush here, because I did a lot of deliberating around what the underbrush should look like, but I mostly settled on a mix of podzol and coarse dirt with ferns and mushrooms and stuff. Trying to avoid grass somewhat to make it look more like a real spruce forest. And we have bunnies throughout here. And not just bunnies, we also have birds, if I can go find one. But we have our little stationary rabbits throughout the forest, adding just a little bit of life. And let's go see if we can't spot a bird or two. There's one. So there's a nice bright bluebird. He's a little corner guy, but I wanted to try to add a lot of animal life. I wish we had deer. Deer would be lovely. But you can see that there's also a little gray one here. Brownish gray, I suppose. We have our mossy rocks throughout, and you can see that we're using moss on the borders of these grass blocks to create a nice kind of rolling hills look. I want to show you, we also have some berry bushes throughout, and that's inspired by the fact that we have foxes. So if we can make our way up to that little knoll there, I'll show you the fox den that we have. Whoop-a-doop. So this is it. These are our two little sleeping foxes down here underneath the roots of this great big tree. And they're probably going to hunt the rabbits when they wake up, so let's be quiet not to wake them too much. But I really love the way that this place has worked out. I mean, I think it's just really pretty. It's a really big project. I wanted to say I did use the structure blocks to duplicate some of these trees. So I'd say roughly a third of the trees here, or 40%, are ones that have been duplicated. The thing about duplication, though, is that you can't get them close together because there's a big air box around it. So like this tree in the middle, you could never duplicate. But this one you could, as long as you rebuilt the terrain after the air blocks took it out, basically. So it's a whole thing. And the last thing I want to point out about the forest is this custom waterfall. Sorry, I'm still getting over a cold, which is kind of why the last video didn't have any audio from my end, because I was just super congested and it was a nightmare. But yeah, guys, so we have this big waterfall here, and I've been trying to play more with using glass blocks. So over at the top here, we have just a little pool. You can imagine it's coming up from like a mountain spring. Llamas. And it flows all the way down here in a mix of stained glass and stained glass panes till you get to this big kind of foamy eruption down at the bottom. We have some darker stone blocks around to mimic the look of, say, water splashing on rocks. I really like the way that this has turned out. I might even make this river into glass blocks. I'm not sure, but I think it adds a lot. If I were to redo this whole thing, I would probably make it come down along this kind of middle path here, and I would do a little bit more terraforming. But I'm just really pleased with how this has turned out. I feel like it's really relaxing place, and it's one of the few parts of my world where it's not about the human buildings. It really is just about trying to create a good sense of nature and isolation almost. That being said, I do have a plan for this area here, and this is basically just a little bit down the river from what I showed off the last Regensburg episode. So if we come down this river, we get to this industrial area, and my thought is that maybe the Regensburg people sometimes take a boat down the river and they come down here to get horses, because this might be a horse ranch. So it would be something like a log cabin here, some kind of like horse stables and like a big pasture, and then a couple of little huts or little cottages for the farmhands. Again, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, so thinking about the epilogue at Pronghorn Ranch. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. The next video is probably going to be either the ranch or possibly the Van Graff mansion. I'm not entirely sure. But I guess I just have to stick around and find out. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya. See ya.